first.
Sam, are you cheating on me with another pet store? No. It's just, I have auto ship. PetSmart has auto ship too, and same day delivery. Or like the full package. Shop anything, anyway. PetSmart. Anything for pets. Costs $200.
You mean 2,000 Totino's pizza rolls?
Pizza rolls are 10 for about $1, so yeah, that adds up.
My pimp said, come on, little buddy, you're free. Love those pizza rolls, huh? Ooh, Totino's pizza rolls are 10 for about $1.
Oh, please. What does coming home to the delightful scents of Febreze Blux feel like? Like the best, the best. Because Febreze has a microchip to control scent release, so it's first day fresh for 50 days. And releasing a Vitalite so that freshness never ends. Want to make the best even better? Try Clutch Scent Booster with 3 intensity settings, flexible placement, plus a boost button for extra scent. And extra welcome home.
Want to get more done with one sheet? Grab Bounty. While ordinary brands can't hold up, one sheet of Bounty keeps working even when wet. Can your paper towel do all that? Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Who are you? Who do you believe you are?
Just take a quick quiz to show your size, style, and budget, and your stylist will send personalized looks right to your door.
Who are you? Who do you believe you are? Are you successful, happy, positive person? Or do you consider yourself pessimistic, stressed, or even afraid? Are you strong or weak? Are you confident or insecure? However you're called to answer, your answer is correct. So long as you believe it, you are excuse me. As long as you're willing to believe it. And your physical reality is but a reflection of those beliefs. Your physical reality is a reflection of your beliefs. Okay. So you need to juggle your thoughts into thinking like, why do they force all these beliefs on me? Why do they force me to believe everything outside of me? Why are they giving me all these things outside of me to consume? Why do they do that? Because if they can keep your focus on everything else outside of you except for yourself, you'll never know your true God complex. You'll never know your true essence and what it means to be a product of God, right? Because of course there are higher powers, and you think that you were just born to work, live, and die. No, you were born to create. You were born to have that mind of your own and to present it towards the world and come out with new outcomes, come out with new paradigms for people to be able to go down that path that you created for others. You're making a path where there was no path, right? So we have, who are you? Who do you believe you are? Are you a successful, happy, positive person, or do you consider yourself pessimistic, stressed, or even afraid? Are you strong or weak? Are you confident or insecure? However you're called to answer, your answer is correct. Your answer is correct. However you're called to answer, whatever you believe is what it is. Whatever in this reality is happening, if you could believe it long enough, then that's what it will be. Therefore, spend your time, instead of having fear, spend your time in a energy of faith, energy of hope, energy of you getting things done. Instead of you going through trials and tribulations, it's too easy to shift your focus to what's all going wrong, right? Technically, you in that fear of what could go wrong sent you to that point of where things went wrong. So I want you to condition your mind to staying positive for a reason, because when we go into being into that negative state of mind, we don't know that our energy flowing towards the negative will bring us negativity into our reality, right? So, are you considered insecure? Do you consider yourself insecure? However you're called to answer, your answer is correct. If you consider yourself confident, your answer is correct. So as long as you believe it, your physical reality will be a reflection of it. Of those beliefs. Now for the next question, are you the believer or are you the beliefs? Are you the believer or the beliefs, huh? I want to do something a little different today. Because I will say that me as a child, one of my greatest fears as a child was losing my mother. One of my, when you tell me I didn't even have a chance to be a child because I was such in fear of the day that I would lose my mother, because I knew that it would come someday because I seen my mother lose her mother. So at a young age as a child, me seeing my mother lose her mother, I feared the day of when I would lose my mother. And with them instilling that fear inside of me, and because we are programmed to our beliefs, right? You're consistently on a program of some sort with what you see, what you believe, what they tell a vision, right? So when I was forced to see my grandmother in that casket and seeing what it did to all of my aunts and uncles and my mother, it led me to think at a young age, 6 or 7 years old, that damn, this is going to happen to me someday. This is going to happen to me someday. So then it's like, boom, you go about your days thinking like any day this might happen. And it's like, if you don't have that outlet to reprogram your mind and to condition your beliefs to being positive, it's going to be hard for you to find somebody to get you in that place, right? It's going to be hard for you to find somebody who can set your mind at ease so that you can think different about yourself, your situation, and your circumstances, right? So are you the believer or are you the beliefs? Put it in the comments. Let's talk. Let's have a chat. Are you the believer or the beliefs? I would love to hear your comments towards this. What am I talking about? RBX 200K4Q. I am talking about the laws of thought. How your thoughts will soon become an action. Or your thoughts will soon become something tangible in your reality, depending on how your frequency is, right? Like, thank God that we have that gray area where we think negative, and it's like we have that point of time where we can think and shift our perspective from negativity to positivity, right? Because it's like, are you the believer or the beliefs, right? Are you the believer that because I'm thinking this way that everything is working out in my favor? Because if that's the case, then what about when we're believing that everything is falling apart, right? So I used the analogy of a person on the plane the other day. You know, a person on the plane, they may see that everything is falling apart. But if you can have that faith before you hit the ground, guess what? That faith can shift that motor right into gear. That faith can literally shift energy into places where it was a blockage, and it'll create a flow, right? And I say that because my mother, I loved her dearly. And with the young age that I was at, with seeing so much death in my life, I didn't understand that, you know, I didn't understand the things that I understand today, of course. But it's like now, after everything has happened, and now in my own adult life, how I fester certain outcomes, or I pull my brain apart to make sense of things. I'll say that as a trans woman, right, before the transition, you know, before a lot of different things, it's like I had everybody telling me what I couldn't do, what I won't do, what I won't be, what I shouldn't do, what I should do. I had everybody, it's just it's like everybody's right here, right? And it's like, because everybody's in your mind, a lot of times you don't have time to think, right? You don't have time to think sometimes. And we have to give ourselves that time to think. You know, a lot of times things want your answer right now. They're requiring an answer from you. And you need to give them 3 business days before you really come up with an answer. Because a lot of times today, they want you to just have an answer, give me an answer. And it's like, I don't have an answer right now. And give yourself that time to come up with the perfect answer. Because you got to understand that this is reality, that we're handling reality. And when we're handling reality, sometimes we need some time to process the new stuff, right? Because sometimes when you've been in such of a great period of things when the new things present itself, you'll have a hard time accepting it because of what once was. You'll have a hard time accepting these great things that are really for you because you had a hard season, right? And so with those hard seasons, a lot of times we'll think no because we didn't see it coming. So now everything is a red flag. Everything, oh, nope, 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 nope. You just block, 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 push everything away. And it's like, no, we have to learn how to put our nervous system at ease and understanding that if our beliefs are telling us that things will go out of way, ask ourselves, why are we thinking that way? Why are we thinking that way? Why am I thinking that way? When I know that the seasons that I have been through only taught me how not to think that way, right? So you have to understand when you are not your thoughts, am I Christian? What does it mean to be Christian? I would like to hear that from you. What does it mean to be Christian? Since we're on this topic, let's talk about it. What does it mean to be Christian? Because I will be the first to tell you that I do not represent the crucifixion of a man. I do not convey with the crucifixion of a man. I do not condone violence, right? I'm not about hatred. I'm not about the things that a lot of Christians are on today. A lot of, if you're not a Christian, then whatever your beliefs are shit. And it's like, what about I'm the generational curse breaker. I'm the one to show the Christians that not only were you supposed to be praying, what is a prayer without the belief behind it, right? So it's like you can sit here and read the book from the front to the back, but if you aren't owning and standing in that belief, and it's like you be on the fence with a lot of things in that belief, right? You be on the fence with a lot of things. It's like, yeah, I believe everything this book is telling me, but at the same time, I don't believe in that part. To where it's like, okay, well then, guess what? They have rewritten the book many times to the point where they give you distorted information. They try to keep things from you. Why is that? But you feel like that's the place to be. That's the only thing to do. That's the only place. Now, see, if it's never been tampered with, if it's never been changed, if it's been something from Egyptian culture and it's been the truth, and nothing but the truth, if it can give you the beginning until the end and what is to expect, then what the fuck are we believing in? You're just believing in somebody's what? It's a spell book if you ask me. But that's another topic for another day. Everything in the English language is spells. I'll have you know. Okay. Let me introduce you to the believer. The believer is I am. This is not only your true name, but it's also your true self. This is your pure awareness. On the other hand, what you say I am to creates who and what you are. Of being in accordance with your beliefs are dynamic, forever changing, and impairment. The believer I am is statically changeless. Static, changeless, and everlasting. Both the believer and the beliefs are one and will continue to be one for as long as you believe. You are your beliefs. The believer within you is unconditional and has the power to see life as it is and things as you are through the lenses its unconditioned awareness. Where all things are, the extension of the things and that one thing is love and light. Love and light. Love and light. Love and light, right? The believer that has the power to realize that it is infinite, omnipresent, omnipotent, all-knowing, all-loving, all-being, all-forgiving, and all-accepting. It knows that it is the one and the only cause and source through which the phenomenon of life is expressed. For it knows that it is life experiencing itself. The divine disruptor, they call me. That light just flickered. The divine disruptor. I'm okay with that. Because as a child, I was very disrupted. I was very troubled as a child. Having that book put in my face and telling me, hey, you're going to go to hell just for being yourself. And it's like, well, damn. So you mean to tell me that I'm stuck here in this world, stuck here in this body, and me changing myself from being stuck to unstuck is a problem? Tell me, I'm sorry, show me the fine print where I give a fuck about the problems for others when I was going through what I was going through and nobody found a solution for me and I made through what I had to do to where do you? I'm trying to find a fuck to give in this book because I promise you it's not one there. There are no fucks to give. When people show you who they are, when people show you what they want for you and you surpass that, who gives a fuck how they feel? Who gives a fuck who they are? Because guess what? Those people who set out that trap for you to hang yourself or lay yourself out into the whatever, when you find who you are and you be unapologetically who you are, people don't like things that they can't challenge. People don't like things that they don't understand. People don't like a lot of different things, but that's not your problem. That's a them problem, honey. On the other hand, what you say I am to creates who you and what you are. On the other hand, what you say I am to creates who and what you are. So when you say I'm that B word and ends with the K, B-R-O-K-E, when y'all use that word, that's what you become. And you know one word that really troubles me is the word happy. In the dictionary, the word happy means gay. But they make gay seem like it's such a bad thing. It's like, oh, you're supposed to be angry. You're supposed to be hyper masculine. You're supposed to be muscular. You're supposed to be... And it's like, when they're not that, then what? When they're not that, then what? When they're not that, then what? They're disposable? You just throw them away? You don't want to be seen with it. You don't want to hear. You don't what? Why? Why does it make you so uncomfortable for people to see you with the very thing that other people tried to keep away? People will try to send you back to the closet. Meanwhile, they were wondering, why were you in that closet? Why are you in the closet? Why are you in the closet? What's over there in the closet? They want to know what's in your closet. Just for you to come out that motherfucker and they mad at you for coming out. It's like, oh, we all knew that you was gay as hell. We all knew. Okay, well, then if you knew, why the fuck would you ask? If you knew, why the fuck would it be a problem? If you knew, then you know. That's a funny comment, because, yeah, they, which is me, we do exist. I don't consider myself to be one energy over the other. I embrace myself wholeheartedly, entirely, okay? So knowing that, yeah, if my thoughts are fighting with each other, then guess what? Maybe justice will be served, okay? In that order. Needless to say, you got to understand how time is an illusion, right? A lot of times we wait until we become an adult to get justice from the person who did us wrong as a child, right? But then if everybody makes it okay for what this person did, how will you ever get justice? It's just like, say for instance, you can have that uncle who... You can have that anybody for that case. You can have that anybody who did things against people in their day, in their time, in their season, and they may have gotten away with a lot of different things, and because they got away with it, they don't see no reason to change, right? And they feel like over time, people just forget. right? People just forget over time, which people do, but within people forgetting, a lot of times you forgetting looks a lot like you picking up a bottle because, yeah, although it's not predominantly active in your life today, you pick up a bottle because it's like, oh, I just can't bear these things, right? So then it could be very much so take what resonates, leave what doesn't. It could be any different situation, any different scenario. But I do know of people who could not stand up for themselves, could not fight for themselves, and they only waited till they became an adult so that they could retaliate, so that they could show the person who was fucking with them who they were fucking with. But then it's like you become at ease with that energy because either you're not, either you've healed, which healing, you're never done healing, right? Some days look better than others, but a lot of times we're not really fully healed until we get that justice. A lot of times we're not fully healed until we actually show up for ourselves, you know, because it's for where people didn't show up for you that you're waiting on someone to show up, and that someone is you. That someone is you showing up for yourself, standing out on faith, understanding that no matter who wasn't there, it's you, it's your life, right? A lot of times we wait on that season for somebody to show up, and that season has came and passed because it was always you. It was always you. The believer has the power to realize that it is infinite, omnipresent, omnipotent, all-knowing, all-loving, all-being, all-forgiving, all-accepting. It knows that it is the one and the only cause, the source through which is phenomenon of life. Now, I only got 1% on my battery, so I'm about to have to hang it up in a second. But on the other hand, the one who is solely identified with their beliefs does not have the same power. So, does your beliefs identify you, or do you identify your beliefs? You know, if you're a child who grew up in a church and you had a book put in front of you and you were taught what to believe, you were taught these things, you got to understand that those teachings are just like any other teachings. They teach you things so that you can, it's like, oh, well, they set me there and they taught me that, so it had to be right. No, they taught you that so that you could always come farther and farther and farther and farther and farther away from the truth. Why do they want to cover up the truth? It's because these people never seen this day. They didn't think it through, right? And so when people don't think things through, they don't see that far into the future of that. The children of then will be here in the now, and we will hold them accountable, right? People are running from accountability. People are running from accountability so far, they're trying to go to another motherfucking planet because they know. They know what they did, right? So, you know, they just try to keep, you know, things, you know, at bay. You know, they try to make you wait. They try to, you know, change things, give you other things outside of you that look chaotic that you have to deal with every day so that you're not looking at their ass. That's what this whole thing is all about. Chaos, chaos, chaos. Flood their feeds with bullshit. Give them ice. Give them, yeah, we're going to make it like it's, you know. Are you strong or are you weak? Whichever one you believe is usually what it is that you will be. So I'm going to need you to believe that you are strong right now. I'm going to need you to take your power back right now and understand that your oppressors only oppress you. They give you things to show you what not to do. They show you people who, you know, get caught up in life speaking truths, right? And the thing is, you look at a truth teller like, oh, why are they talking about this? It's because why aren't you getting the picture? Why aren't you figuring out, like, you should, it's self-explanatory, right? What's understood doesn't need to be explained, right? Or no? Am I wrong? Because I've seen many, many, many truth tellers put their lives on the lines many, 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 many different times. And it's like, if the people are just willing to turn the other cheek and go turn on, you know, TikTok and whatever the case may be, we'll never get there. We'll never get there. Yeah. So, moving forward, are you the believer or the beliefs? This lesbian queen, actually, I'm a trans woman. They said, are you the believer or the belief? So what do I believe I am? I believe that I am infinite. I believe that, there is no bounds to my energy. There is no bounds to my energy. I am infinite. I have an endless supply of energy. Whatever you believe is what will be, right? That's why they give you poverty. That's why they give you stress. That's why they give you first of the month checks. That's why they give you fixed income. Because if you only can believe what you have tangible to you, then you can't be limitless that way. Because you only think of what it is that you have access to.